We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car parked, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
This is your favorite time of the week with your number one podcast.
Hear my true story.
Hello and welcome back to Hear My True Story podcast. Well, I'm excited to be back with you on a new episode on Hear My True Story. And today we are going to talk about something really important for some people. I know many of you have asked about Germany's immigration laws, especially the recent updates under the Skilled Workers Immigration Act 2.0. Now, before we get into it, I want to share something personal. Every time I call home to Uganda, it is amazing how quickly the conversation turns into questions about moving to Germany. People always asking, how did you come to Germany? How did you move to Germany? Can you help me to move to Germany? I know that many of you listening are curious about the steps to take, whether you are interested in working or studying in Germany. But honestly, it's not always easy to explain everything in a quick call. You see, I came to Germany on a volunteer program called POFD. And many people haven't even heard about it. Many people that come from my country, perhaps even some other global south countries, they don't know about this program. And when I'm talking to friends or family, I find myself trying to explain all the different ways you can move to Germany. But it is complicated, for sure. It's not something you can sum up in a few minutes. So, that's one of the reasons why I decided today to create an episode. I have invited a guest who is more informed about the topic, who has more knowledge than me, to share with you that information. And I hope that the information you need, you can get it. And also I hope that your answers for those who have been asking can be answered today in this episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode and stay tuned. Enjoy this conversation with our lovely guest.
This week's special guest on your favorite podcast.
Hear my true story.
Hello, so let's get started here. Well, I would like you, my dear guest, to introduce yourself so that the people get to know who is behind the microphone or who is talking to them.
Thank you for having me. My name is Felix and I advise migrants on various immigration laws. It's great to be here and to share these important updates with your audience.
All right, well, let's dive into it, Can you give us an overview of the Skilled Workers Immigration Act 2.0 and what it means and what it aims to achieve?
Absolutely. The Skilled Workers Immigration Act 2.0 is Germany's latest update designed to make it easier for people from outside the EU to move to Germany for work and study. With a shortage of skilled workers in many industries, the German government wants to open up more opportunities for qualified professionals and students to come here. The changes began in November 2023 and continue into 2024. The aim is to simplify the immigration process, but as you mentioned, it can still be quite complicated.
That's why I'm so glad you are here to explain it, What would you say are the biggest changes that people should know about?
One of the most significant updates is the change to the EU Blue Card, which is a popular pathway for skilled workers. Previously, the salary threshold was over 58,000 euros a year, which was quite high. The new law has lowered it to 43,800 euros.
Wow, that's a big reduction. I mean, why did they even make such a big change?
The idea is to make the blue card accessible to more people. And for certain shortage occupations, like teachers or construction managers, the threshold is even lower, just under 40,000 euros. This opens up the blue card program to a larger group of applicants and helps fill the labor gaps in those crucial areas.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's really interesting. And what about people who already have recognized qualifications from abroad? And how does this law affect them?
That's another important update. Previously, skilled workers with recognized qualifications had to stick to their exact occupation. But now, the law offers more flexibility. For example, if someone trained as a baker in their home country, they could also take up a job in a catering kitchen. This change makes it easier for people to find work and gives them more career options when they arrive in Germany.
That sounds like it would really benefit those who want to try something new once they come to Germany or once they move here in Germany.
Absolutely. It's about creating a more dynamic job market that benefits both workers and employers.
I know. A lot of people want to bring their families with them when they move. Has anything changed in terms of family reunification?
Yes, it has. The new rules make it easier for skilled workers to bring their spouses and children with them. The process has been simplified, which means families can join their loved ones with fewer restrictions, helping them settle in and integrate more quickly.
Wow, that's really helpful, especially for those who are planning a long-term move. One more thing, many of my listeners come from the Western Balkans. Has anything changed from that? I mean, has anything changed for them under this new law?
Yes, the Western Balkans regulation has been updated as well. The number of people who can move to Germany through this program has doubled, from 25,000 to 50,000 per year. This change is meant to attract more skilled workers from countries like Albania, Kosovo, and Serbia to fill crucial positions in industries like construction, where their skills are in high demand.
Well, that's fantastic news for people in those countries, for sure. Now, I know immigration can be complex, What's your advice for those considering making the move from their home country or from their country of origin to move to Germany?
My best advice is to always seek professional legal guidance. The changes in the Skilled Workers Immigration Act 2.0 are intended to make things easier, but immigration laws are still detailed and vary based on personal circumstances. Consulting with an immigration lawyer ensures you get accurate and tailored advice for your situation.
I mean, that's so true. And for those listening, I have included the links in the show notes with more information and resources to help you. Thank you so much, our dear guest. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really, really happy to have had you to share a lot with us and your expertise with us today. It's been incredible. It's been so helpful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I hope this information helps those who are planning their journey to Germany.
And to my dear listeners, thank you for being with us on Hear My True Story. If you found this episode really helpful for you, please subscribe and share it with anyone that might benefit from it. Because when you know this right information, it's better to share it with someone who really needs it. Yeah? If you have more questions or topics that you'd like me to cover, well, don't mind. I can always have more people to talk about such information on this wonderful podcast, Hear My True Story. And well, till next time, it has been me, your host, Otako, and I'm always excited to share my personal stories and conversations with people like our dear guests and others to bring knowledge and information to us. Well, thank you for supporting Hear My True Story podcast, and I would like to say bye for now.
We not only have voices for a podcast, but also faces for YouTube. Don't miss your next episode. Hear My True Story.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.